Do you want to travel without making the mistakes that so many of us have made? In this video, I'm going to share with you 6 great pieces of advice that I wish someone had told me before I started to travel. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more great content on travel, lifestyle, and minimalism. Hi, I'm Fran. I've been traveling full-time for almost 3 years now, and I've learnt a thing or two along the way. Numero uno. You do not need to book ages ahead of time. I hear a lot of people talking about booking their flights 9 months, even a year ahead of time to plan trips, and that is not something that you'll find people who travel full-time doing. Often we plan, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ahead I'll be booking flights, but you can pretty much guarantee that 4 to 5 weeks out from the trip I do not have my flights already booked. So there are 2 notable exceptions to this rule, I will say. The first is when airlines put on sales. So last year, for example, we managed to get 2 people from Barcelona to San Francisco for $250 all in. Yes, that's right, $250 for 2 people to fly intercontinental direct. So the second exception when you might want to book your flights ahead of time is looking at sites that have deals on flights. So you might want to look at sites like Secret Flying. And what they do there is they list any deals that come up, and this will be throughout the year, any really good prices on flights that come up and the links to go through and get them. You can set alerts there on the destinations that you might want to go to or the airport that you want to leave from. And we like to keep an eye on those for anything that catches our eye and that could fit into our itinerary. So when you know where you're going ahead of time, you might want to keep an eye out for these sales to see if you can find a good deal. But otherwise, it's not actually necessary to book too far out. The second thing I wish I'd known is that longer term accommodation, you can actually save significant amounts of money compared to doing things night by night. A lot of backpackers seem to think that the cheapest way of doing things is to go night by night in hostels. Whilst this may have certain benefits and certain downsides, which we won't go into here, the rates that you'll get are actually going to be better if you go and find an apartment or a room somewhere. The second thing I wish I'd known is how much better it works out to stay in longer term accommodation than shorter. If you're even staying 1 week in a place, you can often get a much better rate than if you're staying for just the night. And so on. If you stay for a month or 3 months in a place, you can often get a much better rate. So in some cases, it's made sense for us to rent a place by the month, even though we've only been planning to stay there for 2 weeks, because the rate for accommodation for the month is actually about the same as 10 days, day by day. The third thing that most people don't realize is that you can buy almost everything that you're going to need while you're traveling. You're certainly going to get a better feel for this over time, but the vast majority of things that you'd need that you'd be able to get back home, you'll be able to get while you're on the move. You're always going to be able to find clothes, you're always going to be able to find toiletries, and you're always going to be able to find tech. Exactly what that is will differ slightly from country to country, but you're never going to be so stuck because you're not able to get something that's even remotely similar to what you're looking for. The biggest exceptions here might be some beauty and toiletry products that you can't get exactly the same brands, or things that do exactly the same as what you might be used to back home, or types of food. Maybe you can't buy your favourite biscuits. Although a notable exception is that if you buy face and skin creams in a lot of places in Southeast Asia, they will have whitening agents in, so you do need to be a bit careful if that's not something you're looking for. So you can often tell how long someone's been travelling by the size of their bag. The bigger the bag, the less they've travelled. Which brings me to number 4. Piece of advice number 4 is you do not need anywhere near as much stuff as you think you do. Everything you pack, you're going to have to carry around whenever you travel from place to place, and you will not want to carry those 6 extra pairs of shoes and 4 extra jumpers. I promise you. So nowadays I travel with 2 bags. I have a smaller backpack to carry my laptop and camera and anything else I might need from day to day, and I have 1 bigger bag which is actually carry-on size, so I think that's about 30 litres, which I carry all of the rest of my stuff. So I'd love to know, what is the best piece of advice that anyone has ever given you about travel? Drop a comment below. Number 5 is that most places are actually much safer than you think. Of course, you've got to keep your wits about you, you've got to be sensible about the things you do, but also be careful not to let that stop you doing the things that you want to do. If we listen to the media, if we listen to Great Aunt Sally, who's never even left the country, we're going to think that wherever we're going is a lot less safe than it is. So it's important that you do your own research and listen to other people who've been there to find out what their advice is going to be. The perception is that when you travel by yourself, you're always going to be by yourself. But the reality is that between staying in communal places, going to events, and just meeting people wherever you are, you're actually going to find it more of a struggle to spend time alone. Travel is a very sociable thing, and people who travel a lot tend to be very sociable, so you'll find yourself in all sorts of interesting and exciting situations, I'll promise you that. For example, I left my accommodation one day thinking that I'd get some time alone, and I bump into a guy at a smoothie shop, and that guy is now my husband. So you never quite know where or how you're going to meet people, but know this, you will. If you like this video, don't forget to drop a like and a comment below and hit the subscribe button.